Hi, my name is Andrea McKenna, and this is my e-portfolio for completing my master's for building leadership. So this is my candidate information. You can see my intro and my personal and professional goals for the next 2, 5, and 10 years. Then you can go to my philosophy of education, which is one of the first assignments I did while at Fort Hays, which it has been tweaked over time, but I still like that it shows my leadership style, that I am an authentic leader. I believe humility is huge for being a good leader. I have focused creativity, and I am courageous. I will go against the norms if I think it's right, or I'm not afraid to express my opinion, but I can do so in a professional manner. So this is, you can check that out a little more. And then we have my program of study. As you can see, I have created or gone in and filled this out. All my coursework is done. That was super exciting in May to say, yay, I finished. My resume, this is also an ongoing, ever-changing document. This will be my 5th year at Beach. I taught 4th grade for 3 years, and then I went into an interrelated special ed position, which was an amazing experience. And this next year, I'm going to do 3rd grade. I wanted the experience in special ed. I thought it was important going into administration that I had that firsthand experience and knowledge. I'm like, oh, wow, this is what they're going through. This is how they're doing it and why they're doing it. And long before I was teaching, I was a special education para for many years in the district. So special ed is near and dear to my heart. So we're going to start with elementary here and have my different, I'll make this big, activities. So lining up with standard 1, I had 2 different things that I wanted to showcase. This buddy bench was awesome. I was tasked with taking some donated funds, finding a buddy bench, having it installed, and then creating a lesson for the entire building to use in order to teach how to use the buddy bench. It's been a great thing to see the kids and the differences it's made out on the playground. Leadership team, awesome. Been on it the last, this was the 2nd year, yeah, as an admin intern, getting to participate in leadership. I love being a part of creating that vision, developing it all together, and being able to share it with my team members and the rest of our school. For standard 2, I was administrator for a day. This was my first experience when both AP and our principal was out. It was a little nerve-wracking. At the end of the day, I thought, what have I gotten myself into? It was kind of an abnormal day from what they had said. Had a student that was hit by a car. Fortunately, he was perfectly fine out on safety patrol, but I had to deal with our security, police, parents, all of that. I had several behavior incidents I had to address that day, some parents that came in that I needed to speak with, and it just gave me a good glimpse in day in the life. And you are a professional problem solver. You just get pulled in 500 billion directions. But it was awesome, but it was that first day very overwhelming. Standard 3 for enrollment, it drove me crazy last year that there wasn't actually a set protocol. So in talking with my principal, she thought it was a great idea. So I actually created up a protocol and a checklist and everything. So it's at least in the system if there's ever incoming staff that want to participate or any incoming administrators that haven't been at our school previously. And so I created that, and I took over the para-scheduling, which was absolutely insane. It was constantly changing due to incoming, outgoing students, IEP changes, or classroom changes, para changes. It was nuts, but it was a great learning experience to really prepare me for trying to look at that big picture. And I also, down here you can see, I took over the FEMA. I needed to just make sure everybody was in a room assigned to a certain place, so I just updated that. Standard 4, late pickup protocol. We really struggle with this at our school, so my principal had asked if I would be willing to stay 3 days a week, if I'd kind of come up with a protocol. I did a sign-out sheet. We had steps, depending on what number of lateness this was in the conversation we were going to have. It was documented. Trying to really reduce those numbers of late pickups, and it really did make a difference. And that YMCA collaboration made it so it was a friendlier, more helpful conversation than just saying, hey, quit picking up your kid late. It was like, here are these resources that they've given us, and you can contact so-and-so, and it turned out to be a good thing. As administrator for a week, in January, there was a family emergency for my principal, and then my AP was out the first day of that, so I was solo, and then I worked with my AP the last 4 days of that week. It was awesome. By the end, we were in quite the flow together on how we worked, and it was an amazing experience because it was more than just one day in the life. It was like, this is what it's like for a full week, day in and day out. It was nuts, but I loved every minute of it. I mean, it was like living in the land of gray because no 2 days were alike. No two situations were alike. It was awesome. Website. I attempted this awesome website for the school where parents, because in one of our meetings that was a big complaint, parents didn't understand how to do the math. They wanted to be able to check the answers of their students, but they weren't sure even how to do the problems. So I created this website called Math at the Beach for our school, and where teachers could go in and they could upload their homework for parents to check. They would upload tips on how to do it or step-by-step instructions how to do their math. Sadly, only a couple of teachers took to it, but the ones that did and the parents that utilized it loved it. So might try that again at some point. Let's see, and then we're going to move on to our secondary. And so for secondary here, that was fun. I went to Marshall Middle School and did all of my secondary stuff. I got to be a part of their planning at the beginning of this last year when they were coming up with their school goals. So that was awesome. They do this cool red carpet event where it just really creates that family feel, very nurturing, very exciting for those incoming sixth graders on their first day of middle school. Made them feel very special. It was so awesome to be a part of. And then I got to do my first sports activity. I did volleyball one night as an administrator. There's a lot going on at those games. I had no idea. And then I did the shake off. This is where we are having a bunch of people come in from the community, different business owners, different leaders. They help in judging these students who have learned all of these skills that are needed for later on in life when they want to get a job, how to shake hands, how to make eye contact, how to have good body language, how to appropriately introduce yourself. So that was a really cool experience. And then I got to participate in an MDR meeting. The Manifestation Determination Review, which I participated in at elementary when it affected me personally, but this was a little different, setting in as an administrator because I was kind of clueless as to I couldn't assist or interject any knowledge because I had none, but I was there to make sure everything went smoothly. And then I did a FERPA training with the new staff at the beginning of last year as part of my internship. All right, and then the last part here is our district. And this, I got to learn so many cool things about our district doing this. Here, I got to go to a strategic planning session with all the district leaders where they rolled out the new strategic plan for 259 for 2018 all the way to 2023, so that was exciting. I got to be a part of the Avid Vision, and I got to share that with others and help actually create it. I got to go to a board meeting, which I had never been before. That was very eye-opening. It was really interesting to see how things are presented, how they're voted upon. They talked about budget and piloting programs. It was a pretty cool deal. Then I also chose to take lead for the family night, which is a district activity for their Avid and stuff, but we brought in all different schools from middle schools and high schools and district leaders. It was an amazing evening, had different community members coming in, sharing their knowledge about their jobs, their education and all of that. We had a bunch of giveaways. It was awesome, and I got to present my Choose WPS Powtoons thing that I had made for one of my classes. So it was pretty cool because even our big district leaders got to see that, our superintendent and stuff, which is a big deal. And then I got to attend some district hearings. I always wanted to know how this worked downtown once a student was sent to hearing, once they've, kind of run the gamut of behavior stuff in the school, what happens then. And I got to spend about 3 hours downtown with Mr. Colmine learning how that happens, and I got to experience it. Very interesting, and the man does amazing work. And then I got to participate in the Choices Fair. I actually created Beach's pamphlet for it, but I got to help run some booths. I ran some secondary, and I ran some elementary neighborhood booths. And there was also magnet schools that I got to go around and help with. So I learned a lot about a lot of different schools. And then we have you'll see my bibliography, the annotated bibliography here. And as you go through, you can see all of my different articles line up with exactly the things that I did. There's one about buddy benches. I mean, there's stuff about teaching students, skills, basically, life skills and different things like that. There's just a wealth of knowledge in these. They are amazing articles that just line up with everything I've done over these last couple of years. And then I've got my activity form. Let's see here. Well, we don't need to look at that. Actually, it's the log, and you'll see I have my log here, and it's got all my goodies and all my information for all my different things. And then I've got my evaluations. So these are in here, and there's 3 of those from all 3 different ones, elementary, secondary, and district. And then I have my reflection, which is like my favorite part, I will say. The reflection is awesome. This was amazing to do because I did this very last before I did this video. And it was kind of cool going back and thinking of when I first started, and it was scary. I kind of thought, what the heck am I doing? I expected it to just flow and be very black and white. And then when I got into it and I really started doing stuff within my school, it's like living in the land of gray. It's insane. There is no black and white. There's no policy you can read and go, dun, 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 it's, you got to rely on a lot of judgment and a lot of teamwork. And my big question was like, what if things had gone the way I anticipated? Would I be as good of an administrator if I hadn't had the mindset change? Because I had a huge mindset change. I thought it was going to be me coming in and being like, ooh, here's my take on this, and this. But it wasn't. It was like, holy cow, this changed me, because now I'm thinking big picture, even in my classroom. Everything changed, because I wasn't just thinking, oh, I'm on an island here. Everything is big picture now, from families to the whole school. It was really amazing, and I'm very thankful. Even if I never went into administration, this I believe is even going to make me a better teacher, because now I can see the big picture. So, Well, thank you for watching my video, and I look forward to talking with some people in person. Thanks.